Hello guys, I'm making a short video to get you started on the SQL project if you haven't. I went over all of this on Tuesday class, but I'm working on this again here, especially practice a few more, then you can continue to work on the remaining questions. Because this is really a simple process. Once you know where I'm going, or where I'm going to start build a query, write my own code, and then run the code to see the results. Then all of the remaining is just creating different codes, run it again, and get different results. But the purpose of this project, I want to really make it clear. So I'm creating as a business simulation. So imagine if you work as a financial analyst. Doesn't matter what specific job functions. You already have a bunch of data built up for your business operations. It can be sales data, inventory data, cash receipts, or employee type of data. So for the database I'm attaching here, you don't need to create any new tables. You don't need to add data. So the tables or the database is already there for you. And when you click on the database tools, the relationships are already built up as well for the tables need to be linked together. But again, when you work in a real company, you may sometimes get involved in this data creating process. Or, the identify the relationships, right? Like the keys, attributes, primary keys, foreign keys. So before you really can dive into the data and generate any insights, you really need to have a full understanding, comprehension about what type of data I have in my system and what are the features of this data or tables. So like what are the available attributes and how they are linked together. Then you can start to work on the data to generate reports or, searching the data, dive into the data to find more insights. So I'm going to close the relationships. So again, I just have a very simple database here, which includes 7 tables only. And we are simulating a small store sale sunglasses. And again, imagine if you work in a real world company, you may have hundreds, thousands, even millions of different data tables in your database. You may not work on all of them, but you will have the access or you need to understand the data you have and then answer different questions from the users or even from yourself as an analyst. So before you work on the queries, I want you to open each of the database, each of the table and check, for example, the cash. This is like our bank account, right? So we have different, the bank number, account number, the bank name, and the balances. And then we have the inventory table. Those are the sunglasses we are trying to sell to customers. And this is the specialty sunglasses. Okay, it's like one pair for each model. It's not really the generic ones. Okay, specific. And then I have my sales order table. And you have your sales numbers. This is all of your sales transactions accumulated in a certain period. Like for example, this is October 2020, right? So I have the sales number, sales date, sales amount, payment type, the customer profile, and also the salesperson number. So open each of the table and get a good understanding of the data we have. And that will be very useful when you try to answer those, like the questions you need to come up with your own coding. So I will close cash and inventory. Again, before you work on the queries, one thing I didn't got time to change is I need you to change the names of two data fields under the sales order. Okay, so make the sales table open and go under home and go to the design view. Remember, this is the place we can review the data type, field name, and make any change if we want. Okay, I want to change the name of the customer number to customer ID. So this will match with the customer database later. Okay, customer ID. And then SP pound, let's change it to SPID. Lowercase, uppercase is fine, but make sure you change the name of these two fields and then close it and save. And now I will show you the first two queries. So if you look for the handout, which I also posted, there is a short paragraph after the screenshot of the relationships, like step 2. Step 2, the paragraph is really a common instruction to start each of the queries individually. So this project is different. All of the 10, 11 queries are independent to each other. Okay, be careful. You don't need to finish query 1 before you can move on to query 2. Those are independent. And for each of the queries, you will start from create, not a query wizard. Query wizard is a step-by-step already built up. Okay, for simple queries, I'm going to choose query design. And I'm going to write my own code rather than drag the tables and the fields. Okay, write my own code. I can do this by go to the home. You can see already have the SQL. Or under the view, you have SQL view. Always in the right bottom, you have the different views available to toggle between each other. So I'm going to choose here. And this is the working space. I can write my own data queries. And most of the queries in Access is selecting queries, means data retrieval, data search from the existing tables. So they already popped up like a word and the punctuation. Okay, like I can start from here. In the handout, for each query, the first sentence, I'm telling you the reason, the purpose. Okay, the first query, we are learning these two common command word, select from. So select used before the data fields. Okay, select, after select, we need to put which column or which data fields you are trying to retrieve from the data tables. So I'm getting customer ID, lowercase, uppercase, that's fine. I'm getting some columns from the customer table. So customer ID use a comma between each of the column name. Okay, use commas. So customer ID, then last name, be careful. Underscore, not slash, then first name. You don't need to leave space between. So actually, yeah, I'm going to delete the space. And then another comma for SPID, okay, salesperson ID. So select is used for selecting different data fields from tables. And from telling the system which table we are going to get the data. And the name and the field should exactly match what we have in the tables. Otherwise, you will run into syntax problem. Okay, once you run, you will get error messages. So from customer, I don't really need the semicolon. Yeah, or you can, so select 4 data fields, okay, from customer. So it's like your communication with the system, right? So I'm the system user. So I'm telling the Access, okay, help me select these 4 data fields from the customer table. And now let's run it. Go to the query design. and run. Okay, is like execute. Okay, execute the code. And if you did everything right, you should get a table like this. Okay, not really table, is a search result, right? So query result. So because I'm not getting all of the columns from the customer, okay, only for tables. Okay, that's my purpose. So I will go save it. Okay, I'm going to save it, and then see, this is the query already. Okay, based upon your purpose, and my intention is probably I want to generate a list for the existing customers, their names only, and the related salesperson ID. Okay, so that's the first one. So I'm going to close, and because my handout is clearly numbered. Okay, query 1, 2. So I just use the name. But when you actually work in a company, you may want to have a meaningful name. For example, I can call customer list, right? So later you can come back and check. So once you build a query like the auto database, for auto database, we basically use the query wizard. But this one you can see the query item listed. Okay, so query 1. Then for query 2, design. Okay, and then so query 2, I'm doing a query. It's basically copying what I did in query 1, but adding a criteria. Because when we do data search, we want to add some not really everything from the database. Okay, we may want to restrict based upon the time, or based upon the customer number, salesperson number, or any other attributes you want to filter your results, right? So it's like a filter type of thing. So I will do, so for example, this one, I'm going to do a wildcard. Wildcard means if I put a star after select, means I'm getting everything, all of the columns. You don't need to type everything. So wildcard is recognized by SQL servers as all data fields. So it's still the same thing from customer, okay, from followed by when I followed by table names. And then the filter or criteria, I'm going to use the where. Okay, where, then you specify, for example, I'm requesting the customer from Texas. No, state equals be careful, because the is a text field. Okay, I need to put a TX, where TX, when we do the query wizard, because it's really very, so you don't need to put the quotation mark when you do the query wizard. But if you do coding, you need to really follow the syntax closely. We have to put the quotation mark for a text data. Okay, now let's run it. Even myself, I keep running into problems. Oh, that's nice. I got it right first time. Oh, so you can see I'm getting state of Texas customers only. I know in my handouts I didn't put a wild card, but so every time I do the videos, I may say something different. Okay, but you know what I meant. Okay, if you want to restrict to 4 or 5 columns, you can change the star, but type the columns you want, the names of the column you desired. Okay, but I'm getting all of them. So you always can toggle back, go home under, go back to the SQL, okay, revise your code. And always here is another available, available toggle functions, okay, business. And this one, I'm going to close and change. Okay, this one, do you want to make a change? I think I may say yes, but this is actually query 2. Okay, I will just say TX customers. Okay, so that's my query 2. And then I'm going to just do one more, and I will let you finish the rest. No. So third one is a joined query, I believe. Oh, to link the tables, yes. So number three, I'm creating the customer with their salesperson ID. But let's take a look, Nancy. If I'm doing here, I'm only getting the salesperson ID, right? So for regular people, we have no idea if you see the ID only. I want to know the person's name, but the salesperson's name is not available in the customer table. For salesperson specific information, we store in a different table, salesperson table. So how we are going to link the customer basic information with the salesperson name and other, then we need to do a joined search. Okay, joined search like data queries. So create query wizard. So this time I'm going from here, SQL. Still select. Again, if like this one, I'm doing this. So customer ID. And then last name. First name. Then SPID. I may need to add because both tables has the SPID. Okay, sometimes the access need you to specify which SPID you want. Okay, I may say customer, the SPID, salesperson ID from the customer table. Oh, table name, and then a period with the column name. Okay, that's the way you want to specify the table with their field name. And then finally, the salesperson or SP name. Okay, salesperson name. These fields are coming from two tables. Wait, no. So when I do the select, I need to use both of them. So customer and then salesperson. Okay, two tables. And I also need to tell the access how to link. Okay, like which data field shared by both tables. That's the ID or SPID. And here I need to let the system know. So when they select, so the SPID in customer table needed to equal the salesperson SPID, primary key and a foreign key. Okay, primary key is in the salesperson table and the foreign key is in the customer. SPID is the primary key and the foreign key linking them together. Okay, otherwise, the system would get confused with the two table SQL or SQLs. Now I think that's about it. Let's double check. Is always a good practice before you run if you really want to avoid errors as much as possible. So double check your spelling. Okay, spelling and simple syntax like points to make sure to avoid errors. So select column name, right, and from two tables and where. Now let's try to run it. Oh, okay, I'm lucky today. Okay, to get everything first step. So now you can see the first four columns, right? The first three columns coming from customer table. SP name coming from your salesperson table. SPID is the key shared by both tables and linking them together. We call a inner join. Okay, inner join. So E1, E2. Because I don't have E4 in my sales table, so there is no E4 the salesperson. Okay, only the salesperson we assigned to customers already. So this will be, again, I'm closing that. And this will be query 3. You can say customer sales, right? So customer and the salesperson, whatever, like a customer sales person, okay, like joined something. Okay, so you can say okay. And now you can continue on the rest. Okay, then be careful. So number 1 through number 9 are searching queries. Number 10 to 11 are queries trying to add, like append, update, or delete. Be very careful. Sometimes you can run, sometimes you couldn't. Okay, but at least try those and save the query if you couldn't run it. Okay, save the the append query we use insert or update, and don't really run the delete. Okay, just the type, let yourself know there is a delete function for data record in the tables, but don't really run it. And then answer the questions on your own part. That part after you learned these coding techniques, try to write a few queries from yourself, okay, by yourself, to answer the question I have there. When you try to write your own query, first, identify the tables you need. 1 table or 2 tables. For 2 tables, you need to join them by a key. The key depending on which 2 tables you are going to join. Okay, but that should be the primary key and the foreign key linking the 2 tables together. If you forget your table structure, go to the relationship to check. Okay, for example, if I need both the sales, okay, the sales table, right, and the salesperson table, they both share the SPID. Then when I try to answer number 12, okay, like the total sales revenue for each salesperson, then I need to link these 2 tables by the SPID. In the meantime, to sum the sales amount. So sum the sale amount by, group by group by the SP. Okay, so for each salesperson, what's the total sales of them? Okay, so that's and even I think for this one, you even really don't need a joint. Okay, to simplify, actually, you don't really need to the salesperson to do question 12. But basically, okay, this table to get a sum for the sales amount, like SPID, and a sum for sales amount, but group by SPID. Okay, you can sort it later, but that can do number 12. Then 13 is a joint. Okay, you need to joint, like the one I say, the customer table, but I want to know the name of the salesperson or whatever. But so think about it. Okay, don't just skip. Really think, even try something, because that's really the parts you learned. Just rather than just copy what I already have. Okay, that's the learning I want you to master. Okay. So I'm going to Dallas, leading, I'm chaperone the Deloitte event, for our students tomorrow and Saturday. If you have any questions, email me.